A quick screencast on one of my favorite topics in AutoCAD is line types. Every year I go out and I look for new line types and we get the same old line types, a couple of them with shapes and maybe a few with fonts, a gas line and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do for you today is this will be part one of a two-part, maybe three-part series of screencasts. I'm going to show you how to create a line type with a text, with a font. So the first thing we want to do is I drew a line, actually 1.5 inches in length, and I'm going to go out to the Home tab on the ribbon and show you with the Measure tab for my distance that it actually is 1.5 inches in length. And I use 1.5 because you can use any length you want. It's a little longer than 1, and it sort of gives a good distance. So it's 1.5 in length. So now what we want to do is the first thing we want to do is create a unique style in our drawing. If you use standard Arial or something that another company might change the height, then you'll have a problem. So we're going to type style at the command prompt. We're going to hit new. We'll leave it at Arial for now. We'll type line types and hit OK. So now we have a style, name line types. We're going to set it current. Zero height, we're not going to make it annotative because it's a line type, and hit close. So now what we want to do is place a piece of text. What I'm going to show you how to do is create every letter of the alphabet very quickly. So we're going to type D text. We don't want to use M text. It will not recognize the character. I'm going to type MC for middle center, and I'm going to hit the midpoint of my line. I'm going to hit enter for the height of 0.1. We're going to leave it at 1, rotation angle 0, and now we'll type A because that'll be our first line. We'll say it's like an airflow line, and hit enter and be done. So now what I want to do is trim. I can easily trim by selecting the text and trimming, but I'm going to draw a circle on the midpoint just for visual purposes and draw like a 0.15 to give it a little bit more than the 0.1 font, and then I'll trim. And then I'll erase. So now we have what I want to be my line type. Now you can tighten those lines, and I'll explain to you what these distances are in here, because there's distances from here to here, and then the font, and then there, and then there. And we'll get into that in just a little bit. So we have our line. So up on the Home tab on the ribbon, there's a command up in here, and you go over to the Home tab, and then we're going to move over to Express Tools, and underneath Tools, I'm going to pin it. Make line type, make shape. We don't want to create a shape right now. We're going to use a font. We're going to try to keep it easy. But what this will do is it'll enable us to make the line type and then extract the file and then copy. Now, I could copy this 26 times and do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but there's an easier way. So we're going to do make line type. And what AutoCAD's going to do, it's going to throw me out, where do I want my text file? This LIN file is a text file. So I threw it in my folder with my drawing, and I'm going to save it. Now it's going to ask me the name. Now keep in mind the name has to be continuous. If you put a space, so it'll be my new line. My new lines. That's what it's going to say, and I'll show you in a minute. Enter the description, airflow line. Starting point. Okay, I'm going to hold my shift key down, use object snaps. I'm going to hit endpoint. Specify the endpoint of the line. Endpoint. Now I have to select the objects. 1, 2, 3. Done. It says it was loaded and created. Let's pull this off the pen. Now let's see what our line type looks like. So if I draw a line, same distance again, I'll go 1.5. Hit enter, but I'll just go on the properties palette and I'll say line type, and you'll see my new line is right there at 1.5. So it looks pretty good. I mean, I have to stretch it out because AutoCAD's looking at the starting and ending definition. So if I do it like that, you'll get the distances between the lines. So now let's look at how to make that a little bit different. You can change the values there. So let's look at what the line type file is. So I'm going to right click over here, a little trick. I'm going to open my file.